Let's head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. So pleased and proud to be joined by NHL alumnus, former Swift Current Bronco. He does so much for people in our communities, whether it's Alberta or here in Saskatchewan. He was at the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation Winter Classic back on Saturday, put the skates on. Looked like he had a blast while he was out on the ice. He is Sheldon Kennedy, and he joins us. And Sheldon, right off the top, man, game was back on Saturday. How's the body feeling?
Well, Dave, I got to tell you, that was the first time I'd played a hockey game in over 10 years. So, I was kind of like you get in that old car and you just wanted to get it through town. You didn't want to, spin your tires at the red light or anything. So, I'm a little stiff, but it was a ton of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Is it truly like riding a bike? Because you did have some chances to score in the game.
Well, I did. That goalie was pretty hot. He made some good saves. And then Fancy Fantuz. I said, don't get fancy there, Fantuz. Take it to the net, just push it and get it to the net. We'll get you a goal. But he kept getting fancy, that guy. So it was a lot of fun. He's a good person.
Yeah, it was funny because his former teammate Darian Durant was questioning his skating ability earlier this week and whether or not he had any finish. So obviously you've proven that correct.
He was not a bad skater, but for a big guy like that, I said, don't, by the time you get to the net, if you're going to stick handle it, the puck will be square. So just go to the net and I'll pass it to you. Yeah. So it's, he's good. It was fun. And it's the first time I'd met any of those guys and just good people. And it was really good for me to get out and to skate. I've got a couple young boys, 3 and 7, and they'd never seen me play before. They've never seen Dad skate or stuff, so they were pumped and they were excited, and so it was just and I was very impressed with the weekend not the weekend, but the event itself. They put on a first class show, and people showed up. But you can tell that this province loved their riders.
Well, Sheldon, I've got to ask, what was it like then having your kids? Like you say, they've never seen Dad skate. That must have been pretty special for you too.
Well, it was, and our oldest is 7, and last time he saw me skate, but he was about 2. But it was on the Battle of the Blades when I was in figure skates. So it was, it was really awesome because I guess I didn't put it in perspective of how important it was for them just to see Dad go out and and participate, right? Just participate, and it was pretty special. So that's basically. I've worked with Cindy Fuchs for many, many years, since back in 1998 when she was with the Red Cross, and when she asked me, I brought it up to my wife Jen at the time, and she says, "Oh, you got to do it for the boys." Well, between the two of them. They got me out there, and I put on the old Bauer 1000s. The last time those were ever in game action was in 1992. So, they still worked.
It didn't look like there was going to be much of a doubt that they would work. So if you haven't been on the ice in 10 years playing a hockey game, have you been around the game at all? Have you been with your kids and enjoying that aspect of them growing up and getting older?
Yeah, we farm, and we've moved out to Saskatchewan. We made that decision during COVID. For the last 10 years, we've been growing a land base here in Saskatchewan. We farm down on Lake Diefenbaker. We grow small creamer potatoes. We grow seed canola and stuff like that. So we do that, and we made the move. And the reason we made the move is we don't have any family connections here, in Saskatoon or anything. But we saw that it was, when it was rated the top city in Canada to raise a family. So that was important to my wife and I. My wife is in the healthcare business. She's a doctor here at RUH. And so we just are really looking forward to blending into the community, giving back to the community how we can, getting involved, raising our kids. And, I took a step back from, being in the public eye around, some heavy issues, which we were involved in for many, many years. And I'm proud of that work, but I think, everything, it was time to time to focus on my family and being an older father, and being able to have this chance again. Shame on me if I don't take full advantage of it.
That is so cool. And Sheldon Kennedy, you giving back is really what fascinates me. And to me, it makes me a better person because you've tried to make people a better person in the things that you have done. Is it an opportunity at this point to I don't want to say take credit, but to look back and say, wow, we've really gone ahead and moved the needle on this a bit?
Well, you know what? And I appreciate you bringing this up because obviously it's my, it's been a passion of mine, and yeah, we have moved the needle. I mean, I think, Dave, when I told my story about what was going on, I look at the early newspaper articles and stuff that were out there. I mean, I was, people were blaming me for how dare they bring this upon Graham James, the Hockey Man of the Year. But I think, back then it was an understanding, and it was, it was our, we didn't understand the impact of that type of trauma or that type of, abuse. Abuse brings trauma. Abuse is one of the, the main contributors to, mental health, addiction, and the list goes on. So, I think what we've done is, over the years, I mean, I rollerbladed across the country. I remember the conversations that we had in every little town across this country. And, all the stories, the time, the place, the person, the gender was different, but the impact was very consistent. And that's one thing that I really wanted to try to focus on. And I have really tried to focus on making the invisible visible to people. And I think we know this. I mean, if you look at one of the leading issues that we have in communities across our country and other countries now, and it's, addiction and homelessness. And I mean, when you look at, over 80% of adults in treatment centers and detox centers have disclosed early childhood abuse. I mean, we need to get ahead of this stuff, and we need to understand that and connect the dots. So right now, I think, where I've taken a lot of pride in is really trying to connect the dots. So, it's not just a police problem. It's not just a health problem. It's not just a social services problem or a mental health problem. I mean, when we look at the systems that have the legislative mandate to do this work, it's all of our issues, and they touch each one of these institutions. So hence the reason, when we talk about teams and we talk about a good team, we need to be working together to do the best job that we can in this space. And that's, we've opened up 2 child advocacy centers in Alberta, Sheldon Kennedy Center of Excellence in Red Deer, where we've actually been able to change legislation to bring these systems together to actually really focus on the issue itself. The incident is one thing, but the issue, the impact is another. And to me, if we don't focus on the impact and give people the opportunity and reach them early, I think that, by the time they're into adulthood, it becomes a lot tougher to get to the root of the problem. And so I've tried to focus there. And, obviously, we've learned a lot, but, I'm not the only one pulling on the rope anymore, Dave. I mean, there's lots of people here doing this. And I think the key to anything, which I've learned from, people, mentors, and people that have helped guide me in my life, is that, when we look at social issues or you look at big issues, they need focus, and they need to be broken down to the smallest, common denominator. And that's what I've tried to do, is just break the stuff down into the lowest common denominator so that it's understandable for people, so that we can get our heads around it, and then we can start moving forward. But, that's tough taking a difficult issue and simplifying it, especially when there's so much emotion around it. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
The Sheldon Kennedy Center of Excellence has raised nearly $13 million for programming for youth, which I think is absolutely amazing. But one thing that really struck and hit home hard to me was that our company took it upon ourselves to incorporate lessons from Respect Group that you have got a hand in. And I thought of myself as, a very well-rounded individual, understanding of the world around me. And then I went into this, and it brought a whole new a whole new portion of awareness to me. And that's something to take credit for, if you're opening the eyes of not just youth, but everyone. And I guess that goes back to you saying we're all connected.
Well, and the Respect in the Workplace program, Dave, and I mean Harvard Developments, the Harvard group of companies, heavily involved. I mean, Roseanne Hill, husband Brad Blaisdell worked for us for I think close to 14 years. And he was a fierce advocate of this, respect in the workplace. And basically, our whole mandate, when you look at these types of issues, our whole mandate was to bring a confidence within an organization, but also empower the bystander. We need to empower the bystander because lots of times people don't know what it is, if it is, and if it isn't. And, and they don't know where to go. And they don't know how to speak up. So, I credit Brad Blaisdell, the Regina boy, for really driving our workplace program across this country. He was a big driver there. But again, the same principles, right? Empower the bystander. Most incidences that happen, there's bystanders that have seen it, witnessed it, or heard it. And, we need them to be able to have the confidence and feel safe to bring that forward.
The impact of the person is what Sheldon Kennedy, I would suggest, is all about with what you have given back. And as a father, as a member of the community, I can't thank you enough, but I can't let you go either without telling me what you think is going to happen in the Olympic hockey tournament.
Jeez. Well, hopefully they get that arena done. I don't know. I'm like, I think, to me, it's exciting. I love watching the Olympics in general, all of the sports. And, but I mean, if you look at the group that they've put together, for the Team Canada, we've got a great shot. One of the boys from my hometown, I grew up with his dad, Travis Sanheim. Just a great kid, and we'll be cheering for him. Good old hometown boy. But I think in general, we need a good shot in the arm. Our country needs a good shot in the arm. And I think if you look at the Olympics and you look at what that brings, it brings people together. And I hope that, and I'm pretty confident that all the Canadian athletes are gonna make us feel proud.
I understand that pressure is a privilege. How much pressure do you think are on the athletes, maybe not just the hockey teams, the men's and women's, but all the athletes that are over in Italy performing?
Well, I think there's a ton of pressure. And, they've been getting public dollars for training and stuff. So, I'm sure that's reminded of them all the time. And, so when you take all of that into consideration, I think there's a ton of pressure for Canadian athletes to medal, especially in winter sports. Given the the country being such a big player in the winter sports, I think there's a ton of pressure, and so but again, I love pressure, right? And so and I think at the end of the day, these athletes are so close. Like you're talking hundredths of a second. So, it is like one little sliver of, whatever. You run over a pine cone on a corner and, who knows. But, you've got to be perfect to win. And being perfect is a tough thing to do. It's nearly impossible.
Sheldon Kennedy, before I let you go, let's go full circle on this then. If we're looking at the men's Olympic hockey team, they say, you know what, don't worry. You didn't need to bring Zach Hyman. Anybody can play with Connor McDavid. So in your professional opinion and assessment, could Andy Fantuz have played with Connor McDavid?
Well, I think he could, actually, as long as he doesn't get too fancy. Just go to the net, Fantuz. Let McDavid be fancy out there. Just go straight to the net. And, what a good guy. We had some good laughs. It was quite funny, actually, but good people. That's what made it fun.
Sheldon Kennedy, a great quote that I read once is that heroes are people that give voices to those who don't have a voice of their own, and you have definitely done that. Thank you so much for taking time and doing this, and we wish you all the best in the new venture and out in the farm, and we'll try some of those potatoes someday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks. I appreciate it, Dave. I really appreciate the chat.